Hello, everyone. This is Jeremy, and you're listening to Jeremy's English Tips, a series by the Culips English Podcast where I teach you interesting expressions or share language learning tips. What's up, everyone? Thank you for listening to another episode of Jeremy's English Tips. In this episode, we are going to talk about 3 super useful ways to share your opinion in English. Now, in English, it is very common for people to share their opinions and to discuss differing opinions in a rather casual setting. Now, for those who don't know, I have been learning Korean for almost 10 years, and I have been learning Spanish for around 3 or 4. And I noticed that in Korean, at least, the way that people share their opinions is very different from the way people share their opinions in English and in Spanish. English and Spanish are much more similar. However, Korean is not. In Korean, people often do not share their opinion at all, or they do so in a very cautious and soft manner. So, depending on your native language and your native culture, some of this may seem very natural to you, or some of this might seem a little strange. As I explain these 3 ways to share your opinion, I will also share some of the background cultural information relevant to these 3 ways to share your opinion. Now, the easiest way, which you probably already know, is to say, I think. This also has other meanings. So first, let's discuss this one. The phrase, I think, can be used when you are not 100% certain if something is true or not. So this is different from sharing your opinion. When you have an opinion, usually you are somewhat certain about that thing. So let's look at a couple example sentences to give you some context. In these 2 examples, 2 friends are talking to each other.
Is there any food in the fridge?
I think there is. This answer is very different from saying yes. If the person says yes, then they are completely certain that there is, in fact, food in the refrigerator. But if this person says, I think there is, they are expressing that they are not sure. This is different from sharing your opinion. Let's look at one more example.
Did Jane leave yet?
I think she did. This answer is different from yes, she did. Do you see the difference now? I will share with you in this episode 3 other ways to share your opinion in English. The first way is to use to me. To me. T-O space M-E. You can use this to share your opinion, but also show that you respect the other person's opinion. This one can be used in formal or informal situations. Let's look at an example. American cars are the most reliable.
To me, German cars are far more reliable.
In this example, the second person used the phrase to me. By saying this, they show that they respect the other person's opinion. they also show that they are not trying to argue. This is very important in Western English-speaking culture because we often try very hard to show that we respect the opinions of others. The next way to share your opinion is to use the phrase, I feel like. You can use this one to gently share your opinion, but also allow the other person to share their opinion without getting into an argument. This is very similar to the previous phrase in that sense. Let's look at a couple examples.
Do you think the Mets are going to take the championship this year?
I feel like they will, but I heard their first baseman broke his hand, so who knows? In this example, the second person uses the phrase, I feel like. The word feel in this phrase is not as strong as the word think. So you could say, I think the Mets will win the championship. I think they will win the championship. But this one sounds stronger than I feel like. When you say, I feel like, this indicates to the listener that they can disagree with you and not risk getting into an argument. Let's look at one more example. In this example, a manager at a company is speaking to an employee. We need to release our new product by the end of the year.
I feel like it might be better to release it in March. What do you think, boss?
In this example, there is a power dynamic at play. That means that the manager has more power in this situation than the employee. However, the employee still would like to share their opinion without making the manager angry. So, the employee uses the phrase, I feel like. I feel like it might be better to release it in March. This is a gentle way of sharing his opinion. And the third way to share your opinion is, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned. Now, you can use this one to strongly assert your opinion. If you are certain that you are right, but the other person thinks differently from you, then you can use this expression. Let's look at an example. I love listening to this podcast called Study English. It's the best podcast for learning English.
As far as I'm concerned, Culips is by far the best podcast for English learners.
In this example, the second person is being quite assertive or strong with their opinion. By saying, as far as I'm concerned, this shows that this person is certain and believes strongly in their opinion. Do you agree with this second person? We sure hope so. Thank you for listening to this episode of Jeremy's English Tips by Culips. That's all I have for you in this episode. If you have questions or comments, you can send us an email at contact@culips.com. Enjoy your English learning journey, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care. Bye.